Warzone is easy when you play it this way, and when you listen to and practice what I'm about to say, you're gonna be a brand new player. It's time to get good. All right, there are 4 phases to each Warzone game, and if you don't play each phase the right way, you're not gonna get as many kills, you're not gonna have as much fun, and you're not gonna get as many wins. So the very first phase of Warzone is the early game. The goal of the early game is to get loadout down as soon as possible. One of the best ways to do that is to start with a contract. I like starting with a scav contract. Quick little tip here, I always try to zoom in on the scav contract and ping it, and I try to picture in my mind exactly where that's gonna be so I can plan my route. I land neighborhood a lot, and so I kind of figured it was gonna be second floor, and I planned on landing in the second window. The reason this is important is gonna be explained here in a second. That's because we hear a guy land on us. I grab that, I grab a gun. He landed second floor as well. He starts shooting me. What is a player that's capable of landing in the second floor and shooting me right away? What are they also capable of doing? They're also capable of coming through this and killing me. So I've talked a lot about in the videos, the fundamentals of winning a 1v1 are getting first shots and tracking better. Unfortunately, in this situation, I've already lost first shots, and so I need to do something to give myself a little bit of an advantage. This guy has first shots. The logical move is for him to chase, right? So what am I going to do? If I know he's going to chase, I'm going to slide out, break his camera, and I'm going to start with hip fire, and it's going to be easy. See, his camera's looking this way because that's where he thought I was going to be. I slide out, start with hip fire. His plates are even broken before he knows what's going on. Bang. Played up right away. Blew it up a little bit more. Now, one thing I want to point out, early game, I highly suggest that you land somewhere that you're really comfortable going, or that you're going to land a lot, because you'll start to develop a knowledge of the map, a knowledge of the tendencies of what happens at that POI, usually where the buy stations are, what kind of rotations you're going to have. Because I've played neighborhood so much in my whole history of playing Warzone, I know that there's normally a lot of people here, at least 2 or 3, right? And so as I'm working through here, I want you to pay attention to how careful I play, how much I'm looking around for things. I'm just fully assuming at this point that there's gonna be another player here. By the way, if you guys are enjoying this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. I know I haven't uploaded in a while. I had 2 vacations. Both of my PCs were completely broke. I had to drop $4 grand on new PCs. So make sure to leave a like on the video. All right. As we push in here, I hear a guy running outside. I run upstairs to make him come to me, right? Like we can isolate him into coming to us. When he doesn't, throws a thermite. We hear another glass break. Where is there another glass window? On the bottom floor. He doesn't chow, and so I try to take a little bit of an aggressive path here. I slide down the stairs with good centering in case he's right here. I hear him run out to the left, and I'm assuming he's gonna come through the door. And then I hear audio to the right, and now I know he's gonna come to the right. So I don't like this, right? He could pop here, or he could pop in the doorway to my right. So I just come into this corner and isolate one of the angles. Good centering. Easy peasy. Get first shots, track better. Nothing crazy about that.
Change your max.
Could have ran straight for that scav, but I'm still assuming there's gonna be someone here. Also, if you guys want to see me break down your games like this, I do have a coaching program. Link for that is in the description. Should be at the top of the description. Okay, so we talked about the phases of Warzone. Right now, we are in the early game phase. Obviously, I had to land, get my contract, defend my area a little bit. Now we're trying to get our loadout down as soon as we possibly can. That is the goal. Just as a general rule, that is what you want to do. Now, if there's opportunities for kills and you're trying to break your PR, then let's do that. But in this scenario, I'm looking to finish this scav. So 2 things I want to point out here. If we look up at the minimap, we got a helicopter landed somewhere where it normally doesn't. 3 things, actually. We got one guy up here, and then there's also a recon flare popping up in the sky. So that tells me that there's a guy on top red, because we see the red arrow above the red dot, shooting at somebody that just got out of the helicopter and is doing a recon contract. That's what all of that will tell you, just based on looking at the minimap and being aware. Okay, so I centered my crosshair where I thought that guy would come out of a restaurant. I hear shots to my left. I wasn't sure if this was a decoy, but I start to play a little slow here. Then I realize it's a gunfight because this guy starts shooting and this guy's shooting. I don't want this guy to just get in a helicopter and fly away, and so I try to use my thermite to disable the helicopter. Ends up being a bad throw. I blow up the helicopter, get that kill. I was assuming this is a bad assumption, right? I was assuming that that Terminator skin was the guy in here doing the recon contract. There actually ended up being 4 people here instead of 2. So when I came in this, I wasn't fully anticipating this guy being here. But we hit a quick little, get behind cover, and then I slide out with my C9. You can practice this in private matches, like these little like walls. You can practice a slide chow on something like Nuketown. On the red sign inside Nuketown, you can hit little slide chows. I always try to practice shooting as I'm coming out and hitting my piece of cover. Because I didn't have a lot of runway, I sort of just have to slide out and start shooting here. This was more reactionary than like something that I would suggest you do. You could argue that maybe I need to run there because that guy gets first shots, but that was more just reactionary and instincts. All right, so we knew there was a guy top red. I come out here with good centering, just make sure, don't want to just give this guy free shots. We're still trying to complete our contract though, right? I don't want to go run up the stairs there and just waste my time. If I run up these stairs to chase this kill, this guy's probably just going to sit on the top of the ladder, right? So this is a waste of time. This is not the objective that we want to play for the early game. The early game objective is to get loadout down as soon as possible. We only need 6 grand to get loadout down. If I finish up this scav contract, I'm going to get loadout down, I'm going to get some more cash, and I'm going to get a satchel. That's why scavs are so important. Highly suggest you start every single game with them. By the way, another example of like me just knowing this area, almost 50% of the time when I come to this buy, there's someone here or down here staring at me. And so just out of learning from getting shot by this so many times, I was just anticipating this. And what do you know? There's a guy right here.
Taking fire.
Didn't fully trust my eyes on it, but there was something I was saying, but I kind of forgot. Okay, so again, our objective is to get this loadout down. Guys shooting RPGs at us, put shots on him, finish up this contract. Make sure he's not going to shoot an RPG while we're doing this. Get a satchel, we get a heartbeat, and now we have loadout bread. So unfortunately, there's no other buys that I can really go to get loadout down. So I just decided to push this guy, see if I can get him out so I can get my loadout. This is an example of like, if someone's going to give you their power position, if they're going to give it up for free and they're not going to defend it, we want to take advantage of that, right? So I want to give this guy an opportunity to make a mistake. He just ends up running upstairs. One thing I didn't notice while I was playing right there. He runs upstairs, and so I know that this is going to become a hairy fight. As soon as I hear the ladder, I bail. Like, I'm just going to waste time by doing this. I jump down. He might hear that. He just went up the ladder. Where's he going to be? It's going to be at the top of the top up here. So I try to make sure I cover my bases before I hit loadout. I throw the loadout farther away from me so I can get it safely, right? I don't want to just pop it down right here because that guy, I know where he's at. The whole time I'm sitting here, I'm aware of this guy. He's going to hear that smoke. What's he going to do? He's going to come look. So I burn one of my smokes because I know I'm about to get more, and then I go for my gunfighter Krig because I have a C9 already. All right, so loadout's down. Great. Now we're into the next phase of Warzone, which is the mid game. The objective of the mid game is to complete as many objectives as you can. The reason we want to do that is because we're going to scale our contract multiplier right here. It goes 30, 60, 90, 120, 150. I do so many contracts this game that I have a stupid amount of money going into the end game. The reason we want to do as many contracts as we can is because it's going to keep our cash flow up, and it's going to give us all the tools that we need to complete the game. The end game, I'm going to talk about this a little bit later in the video, is obviously the end game is, where you get your wins. It's where a lot of people struggle. We're going to talk a little bit about that, but the mid game plays into the end game. So what I mean by objectives is complete either as many kills or as many contracts as you can. There's other objectives like, getting your loadout down, maybe in some little rare instances, some positioning stuff. But just keep in mind for the mid game, you always want to complete as many objectives as you possibly can, because that's going to set us up and scale our cash flow into the late game. So kills and contracts. If you're a little bit more of a passive player, you can do contracts. I always try to, do both because I like to, have high kill games. All right, so from here, I have immediately put myself into the mid game because we just got our loadout down. Now I want to figure out an objective. If you're looking at the map right now, what are some objectives you could think of? We've already kind of cleared out most of this area. Any two kills that we would want they're up high, right? Like those are kind of tough areas to push. So I decided I'm not going to do that. I don't like going downtown, so I'm not going to go downtown. The only other objective options I have are to go somewhere else. And so in my mind, I'm thinking about contracts right now, because a contract gives me much more return on the time spent than if I just go hunt a kill at top red, right? Like if I go hunt a kill at top red, I might get like $500 to $2,000. That's about average, right? But if I go do a contract, I'm going to increase my multiplier, get a little bit of information and some more cash, right? And so doing a contract as a default, usually doing a contract is more important than getting kills. Now that doesn't mean only do contracts. There's a little bit of a fine balance, but you'll see in this game, I do a great job. Do a really great job of doing contracts and getting a lot of kills. By the way, if you guys are enjoying these videos, this is one of those videos that I promise if you watch it once or twice or 3 times and you practice this for 30 or 60 days and you share this with your squad, I promise you, you're gonna double the amount of fun, the amount of wins, the amount of kills you'll get. Maybe not double, but
Recon contract marked.
Warzone's super easy when you play it according to each phase. So, right, we talked about the early game, get loadout down as soon as possible. The mid game is about doing as many objectives as possible. In this case, I decided to bail on the recon and come do a bounty contract, because a bounty contract is a really great way to get a kill and, you know, complete another contract. So this one's a little bit closer. I want to get a little bit more aggressive. That's where if you're a more of an aggressive player, you're trying to get in more gunfights, you're trying to improve at the game, I would suggest in the mid game to do as many bounties as you can, because not only is it going to set you up for the late game, it's also going to help you get into more 1v1s. So we get the bounty. Right away, it pulls up to train station. So you're going to notice my positioning here. I decided to bail out of the car. This guy's kind of close. Where do you think this guy could be? Right? So there's 3 levels, really. He could be on the buy station, which is probably the most likely. He could be in the 2nd floor area, looting around, or he could be on the roof. What is the worst case scenario for us? The worst case scenario for us is this guy having high ground and us not being able to get there, right? Like we talked about that earlier with the big red building and big blue building. So as a default, usually I like to work my way from top to bottom. So in this case, I'm gonna go high ground just in case he is high ground, and then work my way down. Because I'd rather have high ground and not need it than need high ground and not have it, if that makes sense. Just as a general rule. A little bit of a jump spot here. It's not really a jump spot, it's just getting on top of this, climbing our way up. Hit the heartbeat. I hear some footsteps. I'm like, okay, maybe he is top. As I'm coming over here, you're gonna see, I think right here, might be really hard to see, but we see the top of this guy's head. And so I wasn't sure if this guy was coming towards me. He ends up going to the right, or back.
Reloading.
And then we get the bounty. In case you guys didn't know, bounties now show a little UAV ping, which I love. A bounty now shows a little UAV ping. And so after you complete a bounty, you need to look up at your minimap. Bang, right away, I see a guy right here. And so that's another cool thing about bounties is it'll give you information on it. Obviously, you get a contract done, which is going to increase your multiplier. You get a kill, which is good for your kill count. And then it's also going to give you some information so you can see what's around you. In this case, there's a guy down to my left. He's on low ground. So I come up here, see him run inside. I was thinking that he could run out here. I didn't realize there was only one entrance to this. Otherwise, I would have probably hopped out here. So I parachute, put myself to the right just to give myself, you know, good position to catch this guy rotating out. Then I notice there's no door. Center, where I think, like that guy heard me parachute, heard me land on the metal, hears me running. He could run out here and chow me, right? And so as I'm moving to the left, I want to make sure that my crosshair is ready for him to come out, right? Now, we talked about the basics of 1v1s is getting first shots and tracking better. What is an easy way to get first shots? Just to throw an impact grenade. Throw an impact grenade. Not only is that going to give us first shots, it's going to break his plates a little bit. It's also going to skew his vision. Which gives us an opportunity to slide in because he can't see. He just took damage. He's probably scared. That gives us a little bit of an advantage. Just by doing that, we turned, like, a lot of you guys would just slowly rotate, or you would slowly, you know, ADS around this corner, and it'd be a 50-50 gunfight. Honestly, probably a 40-60 gunfight for you, right? Because you're slowly peeking. You're giving him audio cues. That would have been a bad play, right? But by throwing that impact grenade, we've now turned what would be a 40-60 into probably a 60-40, right? Because we've gotten first shots, we're gonna skew his vision, and we're gonna slide out aggressively and kill this guy. By the way, just a tendency I'm starting to notice inside of these things, people love to lay down behind these things. So just be careful when you push into these. By the way, this is, I guess I should clarify this. To some people, to most people with a brain, it's probably obvious. This is not casuals. This is normal solos. Okay, so mid-game, we talked about completing as many objectives as we can. I'm really close to a scavenger contract, and so I'm thinking about doing that. Right away, as soon as I got out of that kill, I'm thinking about the next objective, which is another contract. At this point in the game, we've already completed 2 contracts. I heard audio on this. Let me back it up. I'll shut up for a second. I heard a slide. Hear a slide cancel. You can kind of see me react to it. Hear a little slide cancel to my right. Bang. And then right away, don't even go loot that guy. I immediately, like, I'm just on to the next objective. On to the next objective. You can judge your games based on how many objectives you complete. Right? Like, one way of judging a game is how many kills you get, but also how many contracts did you finish, right? I'm already... We're only in the first circle. I've already gotten 6 kills and 2 contracts done. If I get a 3rd contract done, it's going to be huge. One thing I want to point out is we see a couple kills or players over here, right? But I'm prioritizing the objective because I know that how good I've started this game. If I just get 1 or 2 more contracts done, I am going to be set for the rest of the game in terms of cash. Just trying to memorize where players are right now. I want you to keep in mind that guy on the buy station up here for later, okay? Just keep that in mind. Whenever you have a UAV, you always try to remember as much as your brain can possibly take in, because one of the biggest skill gaps in Warzone, I think, is how you use your information. So when you pop your UAV, like, did you pop it too early or did you pop it at the appropriate time? And then how much of that UAV did you remember? That's going to help you make decisions later on. If you guys are enjoying this video, do me a favor and leave a like. If you want to see me break down your games like this, again, check out the coaching program in the description. All right. So we're going to finish this contract. We're going to get the 6K from it, and it's also going to scale up our multiplier. So not only are we going to get the 6,400 from it, we're going to increase our multiplier for the next time that we do a contract. This is honestly one of the better games of Warzone I played in a while. Just because solos has been gone for so long, I've been grinding in solo duos. I've felt pretty good in solos. Also, curious what you guys think about, you know, casual solos versus normal solos. I am a big proponent of not playing casuals if you're trying to improve. If that's your goal, trying to improve. Okay, so we completed an objective. Real quick, I want to touch on the casuals thing because I know some people, that'll make some people upset. I think most people by now who have played casual realize that the game casual is, the players are nothing like a normal game of Warzone. And I think that playing casuals too much will actually make you a worse player, because you'll start to let your guard down because you're fighting bots. You'll play the bots differently, and then the second you run into a good player, you're dead. Now, if you're just using it to vibe or do camos or whatever it is, that's fine. I'm not hating on the mode. I'm not saying it shouldn't be around. I don't like where the bots are getting forced into the game. I'm not liking that direction that we're taking in Warzone. So, all right, thinking about another objective already. I could go for my loadout. But since I already have a C9, I'm like, I don't really need to go for loadout. It would be cool to save that in case I go to the gulag later, right? I still have my gulag. So we're on to the next objective. Notice how I'm like weaving in kills and objectives and kills and objectives. I popped here. I popped the UAV here because I don't know what's around me. This is a little bit of a hot spot, and someone just popped a UAV. So this is a huge thing I like to do when this little thing turns red. That means we're on a UAV. I don't want to be at a disadvantage with someone having information on me, so I go ahead and pop mine. And sure enough, I've talked about this before. Whenever a UAV is popped on you, you can kind of assume that it's near a buy station. A lot of players, when they pop a UAV, it's right when they buy it, right? Think about yourself. And so even without me popping my UAV, I would have probably played as if there was someone pushing me from the buy station, right? Now, hypothetical, I kill that guy, then people think I'm cheating, but it's just obvious, right? You can see this dot right now is moving towards me. I want to make sure I don't give up my low ground, my power position. I don't want to give that to this guy for free. I see the red dot pushing towards me. I time it up at the door, chow him when I think he's going to be out in the open. I get first shots. Get first shots. I maintain pressure. Get first shots again. Hold my irons. Easy peasy. Actually ends up being a streamer, one of the guys we killed earlier in the game.
Moving here.
And again, from earlier, we saw that guy on the minimap. Grab this guy's LC-10. See, I don't even need to hit my loadout now. Okay. Make sure I step back over the plates and plate up. I think that's something I'm trying to work on, and a lot of people need to work on, is the plates right now, they don't like auto vacuum up as good as they should, right? And so I always try to make sure if there are plates on the ground, I take just a 1 or 2 seconds to make sure I go grab some extra plates, whether or not it's from the body or the buy station. Okay, so we green pinged. That green ping is from our UAV from earlier. We're trying to remember where players are. I'm looking, scanning, because I'm driving up, right? Like imagine there was a guy right here, right? And he sees my car driving up to the buy station. What's he gonna do? He's gonna come look, right? And so pay attention to what I do here. Knowing that, I throw a smoke. We hit a UAV, and sure enough, just like I said, that guy saw the car, he's pushing over, right? The red dot's getting a little bit closer. I'm like, all right, I want to catch this guy on the open maybe. This is another prime example of not letting someone take your power position. You can't, if you have a good position, whether it be a rooftop or a building, you want to make sure that you punish someone for trying to do something aggressive, for doing something for free. We don't want to give up our position. All right, we're on to the next one. The second I get that kill, I really don't even go loot that guy. I see this guy over here. Actually, I do think I go loot this guy. No, it's after. Okay. So this red dot's moving out in the open. He's moving towards me. Catch him on the loadout. Very, very good timing there. Also, quick little announcement I want to make for the people that have been asking me about the streams. For the time being, I'm not going to stream as much because I've been, 2 vacations, had to rebuild my PCs. I was having a bunch of issues. Really behind on content right now, and I want to focus on content as much as I can. I got to prioritize that over the streams. So, wow, I was on 80 ping that game. My supply run's about to run out. So in my mind, I'm already off this supply run, right? Like I'm not going to get there in 23 seconds. You'll see me just by the way I ping things. I'm already looking for the next contract, right? We've completed 4 contracts, I think, at this point. And I'm already pinging the next one. Contracts are king. Contracts are everything. But that also doesn't mean you don't get kills, right? Like we got 9 kills. We've already completed 4 contracts. This is a great game so far. Okay. I saw someone in all chat typing about RPGs, and so I was a little bit more wary of the RPGs this game. Get out here. Get a heartbeat just to make sure, fire station is one of those places that people like to be. So we'll grab another supply run. We're going to try and get that objective done. Don't want to get shot out here. Let's pop the UAV. Again, I do this specifically because there was someone in all chat talking about somebody using an RPG. I don't have a trophy system. So that's something I'm thinking about. I know that I just grabbed this supply run, and so I have a little bit of a time window to go get that supply run done. But I'm close enough to these guys where I could maybe pick up 2 kills and still get that supply run done. So it's kind of like the balance I play. I do make a mistake right here. I want you guys to just think about what I do here and what I should have done. I'll point it out in a second. And no, it's not these 2 dead slides I'm about to get. One thing I want to point out real quick, actually. As I drive up to this guy, pay attention to this guy's body language as I'm popping up. I want you to stare up here. I want you to stare at this guy he's right here. Just try and focus on him with your eyes. Obviously, this is on YouTube, so it's going to be a little bit more compressed than, my actual gameplay, but see his arm go up in the sky there? He just threw down a spring mine. And I don't know that because I already played this out. I saw that in real time, and that's why I didn't just drive up on this guy, right? Because this guy's out in the open. I probably could have just tried to run him over. But because I saw him do this, he threw down a spring mine, and so I play a little bit more wide because he's trying to bait me. You'll even see him stand on the spring mine here, which is a really smart play. You can see it. You can't see it anymore, but yeah, right there. You can see the spring mine right there. So we use a little car trick. We ghost the car to the left. We go to the right. Easy kill on this guy. Now, what is the other guy that was over here gonna think, right? You guys might have just saw the flash over here, right? Like that guy's gonna think that. So the mistake I make is not the dead slides that I get right here, which is just a bug on the railroad tracks, I guess. I get 2 dead slides. The mistake was not that. The mistake was being in this position in the first place. Probably a better decision for me to push the guy that was on the cover before pushing the guy that was out in the open. I was getting a little bit more greedy and trying to be fast. I was trying to get this guy and then this guy so I could go do my supply run. But I decided to, you know, hit the guy in the open first. Get 2 dead slides here. Probably wouldn't have died had I been able to, you know, slide. But get a little bit lucky on this as well. Make this guy miss. Immediately bounce a smoke off the rocks. Played that very intentional, right? Like, I get sniped, immediately pop my self-res, and immediately go to this rock, just anticipating that this guy might make a mistake. Like 5% of the time, you'll survive these if you do it quick, right? That's why timing is so important. So, what's more important right now? What's more important right now? Should I try and fight this guy, or should I try and go complete a contract? I should go and try and complete the contract, because the supply run is going to let us get another free self-res. It's going to give us more cash. It's going to increase our multiplier. Whereas just killing this one guy right now, not only is it a little risky, because he already sniped me once. He burned my self-res. If I invest more time into this, I might lose. I might go to the gulag and burn my gulag. So just risk versus reward, it was probably, you know, a better decision for me to go get the supply run, which is what I actually end up doing. Cut our losses. Let's go do the contract. Try to be a hard target, because this guy might chase me, might try to snipe me again. He's already proven that he can hit a snipe. So I gotta play a little bit more, you know, wishy-washy with my car. Again, if you guys are enjoying this video, make sure to leave a like. Check real quick, make sure you're subscribed. I'll skip a little bit ahead here. The whole time I was pushing towards this, I had a plan in my head of exactly how I wanted to do this. The safest way for me to complete this, right, because I don't have info. I already kind of cleared this out earlier, but I don't have info, and so the whole time I was driving over here, I was thinking, I'm going to get out here, I'm going to run through cover, and just really quickly complete this. It's important when you have dead time in the game, so, like, get very clear about your plan. Pop the heartbeat, just to make sure there's no one here. There still could be, though, if they're ghosted. Complete the contract. Oh, I did get a free self-res. I thought that I didn't buy a self-res. I bought 2 self-reses. Because I thought that I didn't hit the self-res for free, like you're supposed to, but I did, and then I actually ended up spending my money twice. Little tiny mistake there. I come back to the buy because I noticed I only had 5 plates. Those 3 extra plates are going to come in huge. All right. So now we're having to start... We're having to start thinking about the end game, right? Like third circle just started. In a ranked setting, you probably want to start thinking about this as the end game, right? I know this is super early right now. This is probably where I would start thinking about the end game, but right now I would say we're still in the mid game, right? We're completing as many objectives as we can. We're in normals, right? Like we're in normal solos, not casual, not ranked, and so I'm going for kills here. In normals, I would say the end game phase usually starts around 4th circle. It's kind of hit or miss. It depends on, you know, what the zone is doing, where players are, how many players are up, how many kills you have, if you want to play aggressive, if you want to play defensive, how much money you have. Like there's a couple things that go into that calculation in my head. But right now I'm still thinking about objectives. I got that contract completed, got my self-res. I'm immediately going over and doing another contract. If I complete this big game bounty, it would be massive. It'd be massive, because big game bounties give you an advanced UAV, which is huge going into an end game. And so I really tried to rush doing this this big game bounty because I wanted to get an advanced UAV and also get some more cash for my end game. We got big game bountied as well, right? And so I knew in my mind that there were 3 big game bounties here. So the reason I'm looking at my map is I just got big game bountied. That means someone picked it up. If I see one of these contracts gone, I know where it's coming from, right? Which is a huge piece of information. Prevents me from having to pop a UAV. But since none of them are gone, I don't know where that big game bounty come from. I'm assuming that it came from like up top up here somewhere. I don't know. I still don't know. A little bit of a risk here. A little bit of a risk here. I knew that this guy just got precision airstriked, and so he's probably down below. It's a little bit hard to get inside the car here, so I'm just making sure that guy's not looking at me. He ends up getting some shots on me, and I just drive away. All right. I have nothing to gain out of fighting that guy. I'm just going to waste time and get myself killed. All right, like, we're getting ready to be in the end game. I need to, like, get this contract done and then start thinking about end game. I don't have time to waste with this guy. Also, just not a good fight to take. So, all right. One thing I want to point out is very obvious. This guy is super out of position right now. One thing to remember about big game bounties is they're usually a good player, because big game bounties will normally pull to someone who has the most amount of kills in the lobby. So that's why I also got big game bountied, is because I have 10 kills, right? So we're going to get an advanced UAV. We're going to get 13 grand, and we're going to increase our multiplier. So I am going to have ample cash. I'm going to have tons of money to start doing what I'm going to talk about in the end game phase, but I'll talk about that in a little bit. It'll make sense in a little bit. So big game bounties over here. He needs to come here, right? Like, he has to. And so if I put myself, you know, here or even here, I can put myself in a position to zone hold this guy, which will give me an advantage, right? We talked about, you know, gunfights starting out as a 50-50. If I have a position that is better than his, that makes this, you know, a 60-40, right? Because then he'll have to come through me, right? Like, he has to come this way or this way or this way. And so I put myself in the middle. So not only can I hold him, but also if he goes left, I can go left. If he goes right, I can go right. Had I just immediately came over here and this guy goes this way, I'm screwed. Had I immediately came over here and this guy goes this way, I'm screwed, right? So I put myself in the middle and then just wait and see what he does.
Move in here.
I know there's kind of a lot that I just said there, but that was what was going through my head. That car driving by us could be a big game bounty, but he doesn't turn towards us and chase. So I'm like, all right, we're good. I do need to get out and play it at some point, though. So that's also something I'm thinking about, right? Because we got shot from Big Red. Fully aware that I haven't played it yet. You're going to notice it's probably the first thing I do once I get out of this car. I see the bounty moving a little bit more right. See the bounty updating more right. And so immediately I'm like, all right, he's not coming towards me. He's not coming towards me. I got a plate real quick, though, and now we're going to go chase this guy down. Another thing I want to point out... Ooh, I wish I could back that up just a second, bro. One thing I want to point out, we talked about this 3 or 4 times already in this video. We don't want to give up our power position when we have it. Right now, I currently still have a zone hold, right? I currently still have the zone hold. If I go put myself here, eventually he has to come to me. That's what I'm thinking, right? But if I just let him rotate for free, like if I would have sat there and, oh no, the guy got away from me. All right, let me put on some plates. Okay, now let me loot. Let me see what's around here. Oh, now there's a gunfight. Let me get into this gunfight. If I just got distracted and squirreled and went rogue here, I wouldn't have prioritized the most important objective I could prioritize right now. That's why, like, stop looting. Stop doing all these random things. Focus on what is the objective that I need to complete. Let's go do that, right? And so the objective I need to complete is this big game bounty that's going to give me an advanced UAV and 13 grand. So I prioritize that immediately. I put on my plates, I get back in the car. Paying attention to where this bounty updates. I want to make sure this guy doesn't rotate for free, right? See the big game bounty keep updating over to the left. Now I know he's across the river. I make a really aggressive push here. I could have just waited on top of this mountain, but then that fight gets a little bit hairy, right? Like, I still have to shoot this guy at long range. He's probably a good player. He's going to have good movement. And so I just ripped the Band-Aid off here, right? Like, we're starting to get into the end game. If I let this fight take too long, not only am I just going to let the randomness of Warzone get into it, maybe I get third-partied, maybe the guy gets away, I only have 1:20 to complete it. If I just go rip the Band-Aid off now, I can get into my end game phase, right? Because right now I'm starting to feel a little bit pressure. I want to get into the end game here. So I just drive straight at this guy. And I'm just fully assuming that this guy's on the back side over here. I'll change my color. Fully assuming that this guy's on the back side of this building. This just comes from map knowledge. He could either be in here or he's behind the little set of garages back there. Pop the UAV, confirms it. Hit a quick little shoulder here, right? Hit a quick little shoulder in case he's pre-aiming me. but I see that his arrow is more pointing this way. So he's anticipating me coming around the corner over there, right? I came left. We want to play this aggressive. I don't want to slow chow this, so I hit a nice little side slide. I get first shots. I get first shots on this guy. His plates are broken. What's he going to do? What's he going to do? He's probably going to try and plate up, go get his car, and leave. That's what a lot of people would do here. He's got the zone pushing him. He's got a ton of pressure. I just broke his plates. He's got a car. Most people are going to grab the car and try and leave. And so, regardless of whether he does, I still just anticipate him running to the left here. We get first shots, break his plates, come around here with good centering. He's getting in the car. Break his plates again. Use the impact grenades to either disable or blow up his car. I get the knock. Run out of ammo on my Krig. I'm just like, all right, I got to get close to this guy. Screw my reload. Now I have a car. I get out. All of that came down to timing. Every single piece of that was me just playing 100%, 110% speed. Had you guys sat here and looted and dicked around and not prioritized the objective, that guy probably gets away, right? That guy would have had, 5 to 10 to 15 seconds of extra time to get away from us. When we have that power position, when we have the advantage, do not give it up. Don't squirrel around. Don't go loot. Don't go plate. Don't go do all this other extra stuff that doesn't matter. Focus on your objective. All right, so now we're in the end game. Ish, right? So I'm looking at my advanced UAV, right? Like we worked hard for this. I know there's a cluster of people here. I know there's a cluster of people here. I know there's a cluster of people here. I'm just remembering. I just want you to remember. I'm remembering some of this stuff, okay? I'm going to point out there's 2 people here and 1 here because that's surprise. That's where I'm going to go. So let's talk about the end game phase. There's 4 phases of Warzone. We've talked about 2 of them so far. The early game, get your loadout down as soon as possible. The mid game, complete as many objectives as you can in the form of kills and contracts. They give you a bunch of cash to get into the end game. The end game phase is entirely about positioning. I'm not yet in the end game. I'm sort of transitioning into the end game in my mind because I still have a lot of cash to spend. I need to get what I'm going to talk about in a second. The zone's also very big. So I'm sort of in a little mix between mid game and end game right now. I just worked really hard to get all this cash the entire game. I completed a bunch of contracts, got a bunch of kills. The reason we do all of that is to have a bunch of cash at the end of the game. We have a bunch of cash at the end of the game for our end game checklist. If you're in the coaching program, you'd have access to this checklist that I have, but the end game checklist is, we'll talk about it here in a second once I get done with this fight. The end game checklist is a self-res. It is a satchel and plates, which I don't have right now. It's a good gas mask. It's smokes, a munitions box, and a cluster strike. All of those things are very, very important to complete an end game. All of those tools are tools on your tool belt that give you the highest percentage chance of winning a game. The reason we have a self-res is obvious. The reason we have a satchel is obvious. The reason we have a gas mask is obvious. But why do we want smokes, a munitions box, and a cluster? The smoke, the munitions box, and the cluster are arguably more important than the self-res and the gas mask, in my opinion. They're arguably more important. Because what the smoke, the munitions box, and the cluster strike are going to do for us is they're going to make those random open circles at the end of the game much easier. It's much easier to play an open circle if you have 4 smokes and a cluster strike, right? You can pop the cluster strike, put pressure on somebody. You can pop the cluster strike to give yourself visual cover to rotate. And you can pop 4 smokes to rotate and give yourself time. I arguably think those are more important than the things over here. So endgame checklist is self-res, plates, satchel, gas mask, smokes, munitions, cluster. I almost every game try to set myself up with enough cash to go do that. The reason I'm coming over here is because there's a kill over here and because I'm going to do my endgame checklist because I need a buy station, right? So we know this guy's on the buy station. He's probably popped a UAV. I want to give myself the best chance to fight this guy, right? I don't want to just drive up to him, put myself on a little bit of a head glitch. Had to reload my gun. I do have a satchel, by the way, because I was in the car. Line up my crosshair with that. See him get up on top of the tent. Smart play out of him. I use my little side slide to, sort of hide behind this head glitch and then pop up and kill him. I was anticipating him to be, head glitched himself. He ends up being a dummy here. This fight could have gotten a lot more hairy for me. I would have played it different, obviously. I was fully anticipating this guy's head to just be like barely peeking over and him shooting at me. For whatever reason, he thinks I ran away and starts to come over the tent. I don't know why. So we put ourselves in a position to punish that mistake. So now, why don't I go for a precision over a cluster? Precisions, not only do they cover less area, they don't put as much pressure on somebody, and they don't last as long. A cluster strike literally lasts like 3 times as long as a precision does. Like literally. So it just gives you ample boom, 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 tons of cover. I almost always use clusters defensively, to be honest with you. All right. So I popped UAV just because I have enough money for it. Make sure we get a better gas mask. I'm like, all right, now I need my cluster. All right, so we talked about it. I got smokes, munitions, cluster, good gas mask, full plates, self-res. If you don't have these things, you are putting yourself in a bad position to win games. Very, 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 very important. The end game checklist is one of the most important things to help you win more games. This doesn't matter whether you're in casuals, normals, or ranked. Having an end game checklist is important. So if you're playing solos, use my end game checklist. If you're playing quads, have somebody with a, you know, an armor box. Have somebody with a munitions box. All right. So remember earlier I called out that there were 2 people at neighborhood. I'm remembering that from my advanced. If we go back, that advanced UAV showed 2 people at neighborhood. That's where I'm going right now.
Enemy UAV is online.
Actually, I lied. I remember this now. I'm grabbing the big game bounty. Big game bounty just in case I complete it. I'm not gonna prioritize this because we're for sure in the end game at this point. We're for sure in the end game at this point. If it's easy for me to prioritize, I will. But at this point, I'm gonna have positioning over. I will put positioning over top of completing this if it's too hard to complete, right? Like if I have to drive all the way across, you know, into downtown, I'm not gonna do it.
High value target located. Bring them down.
So I'm thinking about positioning now, but then I notice another situation, same as earlier, where the guy had to rotate into me, end up rotating down here. I know now that if I want to get this very quickly and get another advanced UAV, I can punish this guy for being out of the zone, right? Like I have zone information, he's outside of it. If I put myself in a good position up here, I can hold him. But I have to do it quick. We talked about this earlier. Like if you have that power position, you have to go do that. Don't go waste time looting fire station, looting in neighborhood. Do the objective. Timing is everything in Warzone. Everything. See a sniper right here. Are we gonna fight this guy? No. We're gonna make him miss. We're gonna prioritize the bounty. Again, if you guys are enjoying this, make sure to leave a like. Okay, so I don't know how. I really don't know how. Looking back at this is insane to me. I was more thinking that this guy was gonna be like over here-ish. My eyes were so tunnel visioned on this that I didn't see him running down the hill here. I don't know how. I really don't know how, but I didn't. So if you ever thought I was hacking, I literally drive over here. And then the bounty narrows to my right. I'm like, okay. Oh, he is on my right. I see him. I think I see him at some point right there. Yep. See him right there. Okay, so I still have zone hold, right? If we look up here, I still have zone hold. This guy has to come to me. He has to. What else is he going to do? Is he going to run this way? He's going to run this way? I'm going to have a car and chase him down. He has no cover. Well, he has cover. He doesn't have a vehicle to rotate. This is an easy kill, right? I talked about earlier, if this big game bounty is easy, I'm going to do it. If it's not easy and it's all the way across the zone in downtown, it's going to throw off my positioning, I'm not going to do it. I decided to burn my cluster here just because I know that I'm by a buy station, and if I use this cluster, I can go buy another one. It's also going to make this fight go quicker. So you're like, oh, Berger, it's way too early to use your cluster. I always try to hold on to my cluster as long as possible for the end game. I try to hold on to every single tool I have unless I absolutely need to use it. So you might think, why would you use it now? It's because I can go buy another one, and it's going to help me complete this objective quicker.
Time to fly 5 seconds. Out.
Break this guy's plates. All I need to do now is hold irons because he either is going to run and I'm going to kill him, or he's going to sit there and die to the cluster. Get that done quick. Now we have another advanced UAV. I have another advanced UAV, and I actually end up having way more cash than I need here, because all I need is a cluster strike. I don't need to pop a UAV because I haven't advanced. All right, so we grab our cluster strike, and now I'm looking at the map, right? I'm looking at the map. We need to start remembering where players are, right? Those same 2 guys are still in the exact same spot from the last time we did an advanced UAV. I know there's a group stadium. I know there's a group downtown. And I know there's... This guy actually ends up flying in. And then there's the group neighborhood. So right away, I want to go get somebody, right? I also want to start thinking about positioning. In my opinion, the best positioning in the game right now is somewhere in here-ish. Like, I want to put myself somewhere near here to put myself in the best position to win this game. Now, do I want to go plot myself right in the middle, right in the middle of the zone? Probably not, because then I have people coming at me from every direction. And so in my mind, I just want to leak into the zone and then leak into the, like, I want to go here, and then I want to go here, and then I want to go here, right? Like, I want to work my way in with the zone, keep everything in front of me. So I decided to push this guy. But I'm also keeping this map up as long as I can. I'm pinging that because I'm trying to remember where everything is, right? Trying to remember where everything is. Slide out here with really good centering in case this guy's going to chase. Right, like if he's going to sit there and, you know, give me those free shots, I'm going to take him. Get sniped at from stadium. One thing I want to point out here, Gulag is flashing right now, right? I have 30 seconds on the Gulag. It's closing. If I want to fight this guy, I need to do it now. The reason I want to fight this guy is because in case I die, like if I die, I still have my Gulag token. I'm going to be able to respawn. Now, I'm not just saying that because I die here. I'll just, spoiler alert, I die here. I consciously made this decision to push this as aggressive as I could because I know that I still had Gulag, right? I don't want to be fighting these guys for this positioning. Like, eventually the zone is going to pull a little bit tighter, and then there's going to be 3 guys fighting over a tighter spot, right? And so I want to get rid of these players. Also, I'm just greedy because I have a decent amount of kills.
UAV overhead. Incoming LDBR. Hostile UAV in the area.
Hit a quick shoulder here just because I assumed, right? Like we saw, if you went back to the advanced UAV, you would have saw the arrow like right here pointing this. Like you would have saw the advanced UAV arrow. Sorry, it's a terrible arrow. You would have saw the advanced UAV arrow looking this way. And so I was just assuming. So I hit a quick little shoulder, bait that guy. Obviously, if I repeat that, he's going to get first shots. There's a cluster on me, so I use that as sound cover. Push up. I push up with good centering. This thing threw me off just a little bit, just threw me off just a little bit, right? Like I have to respect this because it throws me off. Then I realize it's not, so I come up here. I'm anticipating him to run out, right? Like we saw him in the corner up here. So I put my crosshair where he's most likely to pop up. And then of course, double bountied up, or double spring mined up on a Monday afternoon. Stupid. I let this guy finish me. Now I have Gulag. Had I waited, there was only 6 seconds left on the Gulag. Had I waited, had I hesitated, had I not pushed that guy sooner, I would have lost this game. That was a calculated decision. Whether or not you believe me, I don't care. That was a calculated decision. All right, so now I've kind of thrown off my game, right? We've talked about 3 of the 4 phases of Warzone. The 4th phase is the regain phase. The regain phase is very important. You need to be able to regain in Warzone. That's the 4th phase. We have early game, mid game, end game, and regain. So I'll go over it real quick. Early game, get your loadout down as soon as possible. Mid game, get as many objectives done as you possibly can to give you cash flow for the end game. End game, positioning and end game checklist. So I've done all of that so far, right? Now I've died. Throws everything off, kind of restarts us. The regain phase is about getting back into the game as soon as you possibly can. It's getting your loadout as soon as you possibly can. Getting yourself back into the mix of things to compete for the win. So I'm going to talk about my decisions here. What would you do? What would you do? We have 10 grand. There's 2 buy stations. We died over here. What would you do? If you said go buy your loadout, I disagree with you. Because not only are these loadouts going to be hard to hit, right? Like we saw people over here. We know there's people here. There's for sure going to be, like this, absolutely do not go to that buy station because you are dead. This one's going to be really hard to get. Also, even if I do get my loadout down, I'm going to be giving away my position. And I also don't have my endgame checklist, right? Like, I can only afford one loadout, some plates, and then I'm going to have to make a decision on a munitions box, a cluster, or a self-res, or a gas mask. I've already completed my endgame checklist. I died to, in my opinion, a bad player with spring mines. All of my stuff is still with this guy. So I decide that I'm gonna go do that. Because the buy station, in my opinion, is way too risky. And I also, not only is it not risky, there's not much of a reward. So I make the call that I'm gonna go fight this guy again. Because what's he probably gonna do after he killed me? Put yourself in his shoes. Right? He was second floor, camping with spring mines. He's probably gonna go back to the second floor and camp with spring mines. I died on the first floor. If I can land really quick, get an SMG and kill that, like if I can land in really quick, I can get an SMG before that guy even knows what's going on, right? And then we're back into the game. Then I kill the guy. Now I have all my stuff and his stuff, right? And so this is a very risky play that I make here. But I just want to walk you guys through my decision making. I would understand if you went to the buy station. I really would. But if I want to win this game, in my opinion, I need to go land on my stuff. I did get curious about the loadout, right? Because that would have been free. Then I have 10 grand to go to the buy station, but still too risky. I'd rather rip the bandit off here. So I dive bomb, get to the ground as soon as possible, get a gun. Right? Honestly, I'm surprised that guy wasn't still here. I get a little lucky. He ends up rotating into the house behind us. So now I'm back into the game. I have my loadout. I got my satchel. I got my my plates back. I got all my stuff. For the most part, I got all my stuff back. We now know where this guy is. Shoulder it to confirm, right? You see me do that a lot in this game. I hit quick shoulders. Now that guy has pre-aim advantage on me. I need to go to hit a different angle. This would have been a great play here, because I would have for sure killed him if he was still standing there. Great. Just like I said, we took the risk. It paid off, because now we are back to full strength, right? Like, we prioritized the end game checklist. Now we have all of that stuff back, right? Had I just went to the buy station, I would have just gotten a loadout, maybe like 4 plates and a cluster strike or something, right? But now I have everything I need. I have all of it.
In the area. I'm reloading.
Besides the self-res,
ready for launch.
which is just unfortunate. Okay, remember, when we originally came over here, how many people were there? Do you remember that advanced UAV? There were 2. Where was the second player? The second player was right here. You might call BS on that. I don't care. You got to start remembering. You got to start remembering your UAVs, because the more you can remember information, the better decisions you'll be able to make. Information, good information, helps us make good decisions. If you don't remember all that, like I invested all that time into killing that big game bounty, why would I not try to remember as much of it as I possibly can, right? Also, you could just predict, I know there's 2 people here. I know there's a car there. I don't even need to remember that guy's exact position, because there's a car there, and I remember that there were 2 people here. Guy could have moved in that time. So I grabbed the heartbeat just to check. Bang. Now I know he's in the yellow building. Don't need the armor. Honestly, don't need the armor box. I think I choose the heartbeat over the armor box because I have 8 plates. Here's somebody throw a spring mine down here. So now there's a second guy. I heard a spring mine get thrown down right here. Back it up just a second. Hear the spring mine. Then I hear him run upstairs. So I'm assuming that he heard me. I hear him loot the box. Notice how I use this right here to cut off his vision. If he's gonna check this, he's gonna be able to shoot me. If I blow up that spring mine right here, he's gonna be able to shoot me right from the window. But I use the little edge to blow this up so I can back up. What's he gonna think? Oh no, my spring mine. He might come check this, right? So I'm just giving myself the best opportunity. This is how you deal with campers. I get comments all the time about how do I deal with campers, or I would have ran into a camper with a spring mine and RPGs. This is how you deal with campers. Prime example. Work our way down. If he's gonna give us the low ground, we're gonna take the low ground, and we're gonna work our way up. Still need to keep that guy on the left on our mind. I don't know if this guy is for sure up top. Shut the door, because what if he jumps out that window, right? Now I've cut off. Now I've given myself a cutoff point to where if he breaks through the door, now I know he's here. Slide up, check. It's just working. Like, buildings are all just about clearing the corners, clearing the most obvious places people are going to be, and then isolating him into one position, and then, you know, taking a 50-50 gunfight most of the time. Make sure I shut that door so that guy can't push. He gets first shot, so I put myself safe, plate up, in case he does plate or push. All right, so now I've isolated this guy into the second floor. I shoulder and check this again.
Gas is closing in. Get to the new safe zone.
Hit a quick little shoulder there, not even for the spring mine. I hit a quick shoulder there just to clear another corner, right?
Gas is closing in. Get to
Now I've visually confirmed that he's not here, and I can also hear him over here. Just a little side effect, I pop a spring mine, right? So now I've slowly taken over this guy's building, and I've isolated him into one corner. What's now next step to this? What is this guy gonna do when he hears me coming up the stairs? He's chilling in here, and the spring mine goes off. There's a decent chance that he's gonna, oh, I'm gonna get damaged, now I can kill this guy, right?
the new
So I use the wall to block it, and I use that as an opportunity, right? Because there's an explosion in this guy's face. He also might chow me. Use that as an opportunity to break this guy's camera. And honestly, not even great shots out of me. All right. We know that there's another guy in the next building, right? So we get ourselves ready for that. I shoulder it, use the heartbeat. He's not in the building. He's been showing up on that heartbeat the whole time. He's not in the building, right? Like if we come up here to the minimap, we just basically scanned this whole area with our heartbeat sensor, right? So if that guy was there, he's not there anymore. Where did he go? To be honest with you, I didn't even know the answer when I was playing this game. But now that I'm looking back at it and knowing what happens, it's pretty obvious where this guy went, right? There's no way he's on top of me, right? Like, he's not here. We know that. He probably didn't go here, right? So that means more likely than not, he probably went here, right? Because there's no way he crosses through the middle of the circle. Like, that, just the average person's not going to run through the middle of the circle, right? Anybody with a brain's not going to run through the middle of the circle. He might back up and just go to fire station, though. But you're going to see how many times I pop my heartbeat here just because I do not trust the information. I just don't trust the information. Honestly, kind of threw me off a little bit. All right, so now let's talk about positioning, right? Like, we're in the end game phase. We're not worried about kills right now. We're worried about positioning. What's the best position we could get into right now? For me, that's right here, because it puts me in a piece of cover that's still in the zone and gives me access to the rest of the zone. Not only do I have a car, I'm safe inside of a building, and there's no one next to me, right? Like, I've already cleared out this whole area, right? So I know I have a little slice of this pie that is safe just for me. You could argue maybe, like, go take this, but with 5 other people left, there could be 3 guys over here, right? So you could argue that. I'm not going over here. Like, I'm sorry. I'm not crossing the entire circle. I'm just not. So it just, in my mind, that's what I'm thinking. You could make arguments for other things, leave them down in the comments. That's fine. But for me, I'm most comfortable going here. If you guys are enjoying this, make sure to leave a like. Again, just don't trust any of this.
gas inbound.
Warzone burns me sometimes, so I get a little paranoid. Real quick, see that you might have just missed it, but there was a flashlight right there. So we just saw a scope. That means there's a sniper. That means the guy that was here probably rotated here. Now I know that that guy's over there, right? And so that's one piece of information. One of the things I like to do in the end game is figure out where everyone is, right? Like, so in my mind, there's one here. We saw 2 at downtown earlier, so I was assuming that they were here. They don't end up being over here. And then there's definitely someone else in bank or over here, right? And so I was thinking 1, maybe 2, 3, 4, 5, right? That's what I'm thinking in my head because I've already cleared this out. I'm just process of elimination, figuring out where the last 5 guys are. Just want to point out, I have the max bonus of contracts and 32 grand. So why doing contracts is so important. Correction, 41 grand. A little bit of trigger discipline here. If I would have shot at that guy, then he just hides, right? But if I don't shoot at this guy, maybe he runs out in the middle of the open and I get a free kill. So our trigger discipline is really important. Because, like, I'm not going to kill that guy when he jumps out the window and runs inside. Just not. Now, I do remember he has a sniper, so I have to be a little bit careful here. Even right there, I was waiting for him to run. I didn't want... Right, like, if we back it up... I'm not going to back it up, but, like... I knew that there was a chance that he was running behind the fence rather than running this way. Still, trigger discipline. Because if I shoot him, he runs behind the fence. If I let him come outside of the fence, now he's dead. So by just with a little bit of trigger discipline, we maintain the element of surprise here. Ish. This guy should have known I was here. I think he still does.
Gas is moving in. New safe zone located.
All right. So now from this point, where are you going? This one's a little bit more hairy because this is why the end game checklist is so important. Like 50% of your games are going to have an open circle like this. And so this is why I think having smokes and a cluster strike is more important than a gas mask, satchel, and self-res. Because those 4 smokes and that cluster strike are going to help me have so much cover and buy myself so much more time. And it's just, in my opinion, so much better. So really, you could say anywhere. The only thing I will say is there's a little, you can see there's like on the terrain, there's a little bit of a cliff here. There's some rocks over here. You could argue this corner. But again, I think I'm most likely to run into more than 1 or 2 players here. I really do think I'm most likely to end up in a super hairy fight over there. Whereas if I leak into the zone, I know there's probably only 1 guy rotating this way, right? Like this guy has to rotate eventually with me. And so if I can get there a little bit earlier, I also have the car. Like that's what I'm thinking is less people on this side of the zone and there's a cliff. If I come over here, the rest of the zone's probably over here and I'm gonna have to contest for it. I'm not saying there's a perfect answer here, but that's just what I'm thinking. I also have my smokes and my cluster to buy myself some time.
Moving.
I want you to pay attention. I want you to start doing this more in your games as well. Start pinging things that you think are in the zone. Start pinging things you think are in the zone. So I know that if I get up here, I have this rock, I have this rock. I'm starting to ping things to be like, okay, is this thing for sure safe? Because if I ping it, then I can look up here and tell you if it's safe. Heard shots over there to my right. I know there's still 1 guy over to my left. I decided to play this cliff because it covers all of this side of the zone from me. I can just isolate this 1 gunfight, this 1 player, if I play on this rock. A little bit of a wide angle, try and get this guy out of the game. All right, like I don't want to be rotating in with this guy. Visually making sure no one's rotating out with me. I heard this guy. I was yapping. Let me back it up. I'm going to turn it up even a little bit for you. You hear the clunk, 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 clunk. You hear concrete footsteps. The only place there is concrete is right here, obviously. You even hear a slide cancel. Center my crosshair where I'm most likely to see the guy. All right, so now I know it's a 1v1v1. I'm up on this rock. You're going to see me even ping this next rock, I think. Yep. So now I know that rock is safe, right?
Yeah.
I'm still assuming everything is... Like, the only places I haven't cleared are, like, here-ish. Right? Because I already cleared out most of this half of the circle, so I know that most things are in front of me unless someone's on the left over here. So I pop my heartbeat, get to cover, pop my heartbeat. Now I know they're both in front of me, right? And there's 1 to my left, 1 to my right. The 1 to my left's probably coming out of bank, the 1 to my right's probably behind this cover. Don't need to do anything crazy. I'm safe. I have cover. Catch this guy rotating. A little bit of a risk out of me here. I could have got shot from the right, but it was worth it. It was worth it. Come right back to my cover, lay down. Now I know that the last guy is right in front of me, right? And so what should I be prioritizing here? Should I just run at him? No. The zone is pulling to the right. If I go get myself good positioning on that rock that we were on earlier, I can easily hold this guy. Notice how I'm still hanging on to all my tools as well. I only use my endgame tools if I absolutely need to use them, or it's going to help me secure the win. If it's just to get a free kill, then I'm not going to use it. Keeping myself in front of this guy. Now this guy has lost the game. This guy lost the game at this point. He sat here for too long. He played too scared. Now I have positioning that he doesn't have, right? Like, he has to come through me if he wants the zone. Classic zone hold. Pop the cluster because I'm assuming that he's right here. If I pop the cluster, he has to either run through it or run left, right? Either way, I force him off his position and I get damage.
Danger close. Over.
I probably should have played this a little bit more aggressive than I did. I realize he went left. At least probably went left. So I just put myself in a good spot in the zone. Light the car, burn my gas mask, come back to the cliff. Now I know that this guy's probably to my left, right? Listen.
Fire solution was bad. Miss.
That's why it's really important to remember grass footsteps. I'm going to back it up just a second here. I'm going to turn it up and back it up just a second. This is why it's really important to remember what footsteps sound like. Is it on metal? Is it on grass? Is it on concrete? It's not rocket science, guys. Watch. Turn up your TV.
Fire solution was bad. Miss.
Just using the directional audio. I know Warzone's audio is not great, but just using the audio, I put my crosshair and I ADS, right? We want to get first shots and we want to track better. The way we do that is by having our crosshair where he's most likely to pop up. Great centering out of me. I use my ears to line up my centering. I get first shots and I track better. If you guys enjoyed this game, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Start playing Warzone according to the phases. Early game, mid game, late game, and re-game. Start playing the game according to those phases. Practice that with not only yourself and your squad. I promise you will get good at Warzone.